Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of The Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys joining me for today's video. And guys, today I want to talk about why fall is probably the best time of year to fish a topwater lure. Sort of talk about some of my favorite topwaters and give you guys some good tips and advice on how to catch bass really from about September into early November. So we're going to get into that today. Also, guys, quick invitation, anybody out there interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler. You can shoot me a private message there and I'll get you all set up with the details. And guys, again, thank you everybody that's taken time to use and bookmark my tackle warehouse link in every video description for all your tackle needs. If you guys are wanting to support Fishing Teacher here, just use that link anytime you have to buy tackle there, and the channel gets a small percentage of a commission on anything you buy, so that's a good way to get you some good tackle deals and help the channel out too. And if you're doing that, big thank you from me and my family. We really appreciate that. Okay guys, topwater is going to be productive anytime the water temperature is pretty much over about 60 degrees. That's sort of the threshold I like to go for, maybe upper 50s a little bit. And you can catch bass anytime the water temperature is above that, you know, through March all the way through December sometimes. But in my opinion, the best topwater fishing is in the fall time of the year. And I want to talk a little bit about why that is, and then some of the good topwaters that you can use for that. Now, first of all, you have what's called the fall transition or the fall turnover that usually takes place where the thermoclines dissipate. Water temperatures are starting to fall a little bit. The daylight hours are starting to get a little bit shorter, and the fish begin to feed shallower more actively. There's still a lot of perch shallow. You know, all through the fall time of year, you have pumpkin seeds, black perch, bluegills up shallow. You got shad that are shallow. You got a lot of activity in shallow water that puts a percentage of the bass in shallow water. And I'm talking about real shallow water. And another thing with that, as you hear me talk a lot about the channels, about the mood and the personality of bass, one of the realities of fishing in the fall time of the year is bass tend to chase lures more in the fall time. It's just part of their biology. They get more active and they chase moving lures. That's why baits like topwaters and crankbaits and chatterbaits and glide baits and swim baits are pretty good in the fall time of the year. It's just part of the overall change that bass has. So when you take the combination of the fact that the bass are shallow, the bass are actively chasing, there's a lot of life up shallow, that's why topwater fishing can be pretty good in the fall time of the year. Now, obviously, anytime that you're fishing topwater lures, your lower light days are going to be better. That's usually always the scenario. But the fall time is one of those times of year where you can literally catch bass if it's sunny, cloudy, or in between, if you just work at it. It's going to be easier on those days that are cloudy, so I would encourage you guys to go out on cloudy days, but you don't necessarily have to. Let's say, for example, you know, you go out and you commit to topwater fishing third week of September, first week of October, and you have a cloudy day. You might catch 15 or 20 bass on a topwater lure on a cloudy day, and you might catch 5 or 10 on a sunny or partly cloudy day. That's sort of like the difference between the two. They'll still bite it, but maybe not quite as good. So if you can pick and choose your days, try to get out there on a cloudy day or early in the morning or late in the evening. Okay, some of my favorite baits for topwater fishing in the fall time of the year, a buzzbait is really good. Any type of a buzzbait that, you know, makes a fairly decent noise on it. You know, I don't really like the clacker type. I prefer the non-clacker type. The one that I use is that Megabass Jamaican bow a lot. I'll link some of those in my tackle warehouse link in the description. Buzzbait's going to be good. Black buzzbait or a white buzzbait, either one. I tend to like a black buzzbait on the days that are a little bit brighter, and I tend to like the white buzzbaits on the more cloudy days. Fish them shallow, as we're talking about with all this, just flat, shallow banks, shallow cover water with it. Same type of deal with the whopper plopper. Whopper plopper is a really good fall time bait. Usually when they're biting a whopper plopper, they're also biting a buzzbait, and I have found that it's about 50-50 based upon just the lake that you're fishing. Can't go wrong with either one of them. You'll probably get a few more bites on a buzzbait than you will a whopper plopper, but you'll probably get some bigger ones on the whopper plopper. And for the water visibility for the buzzbait, I like anywhere between, say, 1.5 to 3.5 foot of visibility is going to be good for the whopper plopper or the buzzbait. Now, if you have a clear water situation, like that water visibility is over 3.5 or 4 feet, you can't go wrong with a walking topwater. And there's two that I like to use. One is a head and super spook, and I like the super spook if it's maybe you have a little bit of a breeze out. And then I like the Megabass Giant Dog X on a flat, calm day. It's a little bit smaller bait, works a lot better on a calm condition. But in both of those scenarios, guys, I'm just running points with it. Just running as many main lake and secondary points as I can get. If you're in clear water, you can fan cast all over the point, and sometimes you can draw those fish out of 15 or 20 foot of water. So usually what I like to do is I like to have a scenario where I've got about 4 foot of clarity. I've got the Giant Dog X on, I've got the head and super spook on, and I rotate between the two based upon the wind. And then I'll just get out on those points and I'll make a few casts to the bank on the point. I'll make a few casts 20 foot out from the point, and then I'll get out and maybe fan cast 100 foot out off the point on like a flatter one. Really good way to catch them. Probably one of my favorite ways to catch them in the fall time of the year. And then finally, guys, the third topwater that I catch a lot of fish on in the fall time of the year is a chugger. Little popper, like a Pop-R, Megabass Pop Max, something like that, on riprap banks. This is a deadly fall time deal, guys. If you have riprap on the lake you're fishing, and you've got water temperature over 60 degrees, and especially if you have shade or low light conditions, get out there on any riprap bank and throw that popper right to the bank, like that far off of the rocks, and just chug it, you know, with a fairly slow to medium chugging action. Just boom, 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 boom. You know, try to parallel the bank if you can, because most of the time those bass on that riprap are going to be in less than 4 foot of water, depending upon the water visibility, of course. But I like to throw it right to the rocks and just fish it a few feet out from it, make another cast, just cover water with it. But anyway, guys, that's my fall deal: buzzbait, whopper plopper, walking topwater, chugger, based upon the conditions. Great way to catch them, and hope it helps you guys get a few this fall. So we'll talk later.